Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley. Yes, they really are Hollywood's new couple, and we have the story behind these photos. And Brooke Shields' second wedding ceremony. Plus, E.T. has learned that Ellen DeGeneres' former girlfriend Anne H. is engaged. We'll tell you to whom.
Michael J. Fox's moving speech about his battle with Parkinson's.
What it's brought into my life and what it's taught me.
The hugs, the emotions. We're there for his rare night out. We'll tell you who was there and what his former Family Ties director said about Michael.
The new series from Ron Howard that depicts a killer electrocuted on TV. With Timothy McVeigh's execution in the news, we take you behind the scenes of the drama that takes on the controversy.
Anorexia in Hollywood in the Entertainment Tonight cover story.
Laxatives, vomiting, starvation.
A celebrity nutritionist reveals who she's treated, including a pop singer's battle with bulimia.
Her voice was raspy and shot from the constant vomiting.
The life of Kennedy mistress Judith Campbell Exner comes to TV.
I've got you.
Behind the scenes for the day Frank Sinatra introduced her to the president. John Travolta does Barbra Streisand, and E.T. has the tape.
No one's gonna rain on your parade.
This is Entertainment Tonight, the most watched entertainment news program in the world.
Michael J. Fox is our top Hollywood story. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Goen.
And I'm Mary Hart. He has longer hair and looks very relaxed. We have details of Michael's emotional public appearance first up tonight.
I've described Parkinson's as having Parkinson's as being a gift. And people think I'm nuts. And, you know, yeah, it's the gift that keeps on taking, but...
In Boston last night at a benefit for the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's Research, Fox was warmly greeted by the large crowd and was clearly moved.
What it's brought into my life and what it's taught me, and the people that it's exposed me to, and the giving and the thoughtfulness and the empathy and the desire to take action, to help others, to be a witness to that, is a great privilege.
So far, Michael's foundation has bestowed a hefty $1.5 million in 15 separate research grants.
There'll be a tipping point. There'll be a point where this stuff becomes inevitable, but not if we don't show up for it.
Dennis Leary turned out as a small payback for a hockey charity game of Leary's that Michael attended.
Originally, I asked him to be a coach, and he came and he skated, which was a huge thing, and the fans loved it.
Welcome, number 88, Michael J. Fox.
Last night's event was a screening for What's the Worst That Could Happen, a comedy directed by Sam Weisman, who got his start directing Michael in Family Ties.
If anyone can help find a cure for this, I think he can.
It's going to happen, and I appreciate the help, and I appreciate the support.
He is something, isn't he? I'll be talking to Michael this weekend about his new film, Atlantis, The Lost Empire, and we'll have that for you on Monday. And E.T. has learned tonight that Anne H., Ellen DeGeneres' former girlfriend, is now engaged to Coleman LaFoon, a cameraman she met while working on a documentary about Ellen's return to stand-up comedy.
News tonight that Brooke Shields tied the knot again. We reported that the star wed Chris Henchy last April, and now we've learned that the couple walked down the aisle a second time. It must have seemed like deja vu for the friends and family who watched Brooke and Chris exchange vows Saturday, just 8 weeks after they said "I do" in a secret ceremony on Catalina Island. As seen in the upcoming issue of People magazine, available Friday, the second wedding was held at a family friend's oceanfront Palm Beach estate. It was followed the next day by an informal barbecue where the couple posed with Brooke's father and sister. When E.T. broke the news about Brooke's Catalina nuptials, which were held April 4th, we reported that the couple always planned to have a larger reception in May. The first wedding, which was confirmed by Brooke's publicist Lisa Costello, was a small civil ceremony, later featured in the National Enquirer. E.T. has acquired the couple's marriage license, which was filed in Los Angeles County, and the document lists the legal wedding date as April 4th. We also spoke to jewelry designer Neil Lane, who created wedding bands with the couple. He tells us the rings weren't ready for the first wedding, but were used in Saturday's event, which was a Roman Catholic ceremony.
Among the 75 guests at the wedding were Brooke's dad, Frank, and her mom, Terry, with whom she's been estranged and hadn't spoken to for 18 months. She called her up 2 weeks before the ceremony, invited her.
The event took place at the home of theatrical producer Terry Allen Kramer, who tells E.T. that Brooke wore a full-length Vera Wang gown with a small white veil, while Chris wore a suit by Donna Karan. Also, ET has verified a People magazine story that Robert Downey Jr. has struck a tentative plea agreement to avoid jail time for drug charges. Downey will plead no contest to at least 2 counts and will remain at a rehab facility for up to a year. And also today, a judge ordered Nicole Kidman's alleged stalker to stay 250 yards away from the star and her 2 children.
Pearl Harbor invaded England today with stars Kate Beckinsale and Josh Hartnett joining producer Jerry Bruckheimer on the red carpet for the London premiere. Tonight, our Jan Carl sits down with Kate to find out what it was like working on the blockbuster.
So exciting.
The 27-year-old British actress says the first thing she felt when she and her daughter Lily arrived to shoot Pearl Harbor was intimidation by the size of the production.
I remember really well lying in the bed in the hotel with my little baby sleeping next to me thinking, what have I gotten myself into? Now you'll wait your turn.
To research her role as Nurse Evelyn Johnson, Kate took a crash course with some real-life Navy nurses.
We got some of our nurses together and we did a little class with her and showed her how to give a shot.
When word got out that Kate was giving shots, lines began to form outside the hospital. Would these be male patients?
Yes, they were male patients, but the first they were very disappointed because they thought she was going to give the shot. We said, no, she's just going to watch the shot.
Kate's partner of 7 years, actor Michael Sheen, was surprised by her naivete.
I said, and it was so nice. All these guys just volunteered to, we were going to and he was like, yeah, I'm sure they did. I was like, oh.
Co-star Ben Affleck says Kate and her family had better get ready for life to change now that Pearl Harbor has been released.
I think this movie's going to expose a lot more people to her. I think she's going to be an enormous, giant star. I think she'll hate it, but...
When you go home and you know what's really important is that your child didn't pee on the potty, or, you get to spend an evening with your husband and the phone doesn't ring, or, that kind of thing. And that really is, they are the kind of joys of my life.
Thank you, Jan. By the way, Kate calls Sheen her husband, but they aren't actually married. She says they were so surprised by the arrival of their baby that they haven't yet gotten around to a wedding. And there's pregnancy news from singers Faith Hill and Tim McGraw. They are expecting their 3rd child and are, quote, beyond excited.
John Travolta does his best Barbra Streisand for Barbra Streisand. We have the details at the top of tonight's ET Newsline.
Tonight won't be just any night. Tonight, no one's gonna rain on your parade.
With Travolta serenading, this Streisand roast is actually the AFI's Life Achievement Awards ceremony, airing Thursday on Fox. John appeared on tape, but Jack Nicholson was live.
I didn't remember that I was in a Barbra Streisand.
Lauren Bacall, Dustin Hoffman, and Sidney Poitier were among the many stars praising Barbara. Kathy Lee recalled the first time she heard her sing People.
I just stopped dead in my tracks and sobbed like a baby. I thought I'd never heard anything so beautiful my whole life.
It was 1954, and these are photos from Marilyn Monroe's honeymoon. She and Joe DiMaggio were flying to Japan, and the airline assigned Kashio Aoki as their personal assistant for the flight. When Marilyn and Joe left Japan, she autographed the shot for him.
It was one of my best memories in my life.
These never-before-seen pictures are just some of over 600 Monroe images being offered by Sotheby's.com beginning today. Sotheby's expects that autographed honeymoon photo will sell in the $12,000 to $20,000 range. And for details to these stories and all the big Hollywood news, just click onto our ET website.
Coming up in the ET Insider.
Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley, the story behind their first public appearance together as a Hollywood couple. Is a televised execution too much for prime time? We have your preview of the controversial new series from Ron Howard, ripped from the headlines about Timothy McVeigh. On the set for President Kennedy's love triangle in a new TV movie. He plays JFK. She's the woman he was allegedly having an affair with while he was married to Jackie.
That's coming up on Entertainment Tonight.
Coming up in the Entertainment Tonight cover story, eating disorders in Hollywood. The nutritionist to the stars shares her celebrity nightmares.
Producers Ron Howard and Brian Grazer have a new television drama about a national news organization, and it promises to push the envelope in prime time. With the specter of Timothy McVeigh's execution in the headlines, this series begins with a fictionalized killer put to death on TV and the fallout across the country.
We're not going to hide anything. And we're not going to pull any punches, regardless of consequence.
A killer prepares to die live on TV in the premiere episode of The Beast. And viewers will undoubtedly be reminded of the possible fate of Timothy McVeigh, whose execution was delayed and is now rescheduled for June 11th. If he dies, it will be seen by the families of the victims of the Oklahoma City bombing on a closed-circuit broadcast. On the ABC show airing June 13th, Elizabeth Mitchell learns just how far she'll go to get permission from the condemned man to broadcast his death.
I wanted to know if I could touch your breasts.
What?
How about your cheeks, eh?
I have never seen anything like it on TV. There's a reason to watch.
The Beast is a 24-hour news organization like no other. Not only do they shoot the news, they record themselves and broadcast it live on the web.
You see these computers here? This is a 24-hour news broadcast, 24-hour news webcast, which means that every minute of the day we get to see what happens behind the scenes with reporters.
Media mogul Frank Langella and his staff decide what to air.
I have a man in a booth inside the Beast who is photographing every single move we make.
Negotiate by ass. Where's Reese?
I think it's happening now, sure. I think there are cameras in the workplace. I think there are cameras on the streets.
Looks very interesting. ABC has promised The Beast 6 episodes to air this summer. And if it does well, the network will continue the show.
Next, in the Entertainment Tonight cover story.
Star eating disorders.
They halted production because she couldn't fit into a $30,000 gown.
Hollywood's celebrity nutritionist talks about who she's treated and reveals her safe diet secrets. Behind the scenes on the new TV movie that takes you inside JFK's alleged affair with Judith Campbell Exner while he was with Jackie. And our lost interview with the woman who says she was the president's former lover. Survivor Colby's connection to Tom Cruise. We have the news, then get the scoop on Lisa Marie Presley's public appearance together with Nicolas Cage.
That's next in the E.T. Insider.
There was John F. Kennedy and Jackie, and then there was Judith Campbell Exner. Now, the story of the socialite who claimed she had an affair with the president is coming to TV.
I've got you under my skin.
It's February 1960. Actor John Ralston portrays Frank Sinatra. Kevin Anderson is then Senator John F. Kennedy. And Natasha Henstridge plays Judith Campbell Exner, the woman who for 2 years was allegedly JFK's mistress while he was married to Jackie.
This affair never will go so well.
Exner also claimed a brief affair with Sinatra, but she said Kennedy was her true love.
Jack, I want you to meet Judith Campbell. See something? Judy, it's Jack Kennedy.
Finally get to meet Pat's brother. Heard a lot about you.
Not everything, I hope. We all need our secrets.
Was it the love of his life? No. What did he fall in love with her? Yes.
Showtime's new movie, airing next season, retells the controversial story of the president and the infamous brunette. Exner herself claimed she was the go-between for JFK and Sam Giancana, the Chicago mob boss who allegedly had influence with the president.
Sam.
The script is based on interviews given by Exner herself. Detectives were hired onto the project to verify certain statements she made about her relationship with Kennedy.
They've looked through phone records, so there is, documentation that she had called the White House X number of times and that she was in Chicago when Jack was in Chicago.
I think they did have a very deeply intimate relationship. When you listen to her interviews, I didn't sense that she was some gold digger just out to sully the Kennedy name.
He was very charismatic. He was very caring, very attentive from the first day I met him. There was, of course, the attraction between the two of us. And he made you feel like you were the only person in the world. E.T.
sat down with Exner in 1991. Even up to the time of her death 2 years ago, she maintained that there was a dark side to Camelot that needed to be told.
You can't just think of him as the president. He also was just a man, and he had his insecurities and problems just like the rest of us.
By the way, that Frank Sinatra music that you heard in the Showtime film, it's not the voice of the chairman of the board. They decided to use a sound-alike instead.
From anorexia to bulimia, eating disorders seem to strike celebrities at a surprising rate. Now the woman many stars turn to for help to eat right reveals the secrets behind the treatments in our Entertainment Tonight cover story.
I've seen actors and actresses and models on drugs. I've seen eating disorders, laxatives, vomiting, starvation, excessive exercising.
Weight seems to be Hollywood's issue of the moment, with many actresses feeling the pressure to stay very thin. New York-based nutritionist Joy Bauer says she hears their complaints.
They'll come to me and say that a manager or their director is mandating that they lose 20 pounds.
Bauer, author of the new diet book, The 90-10 Weight Loss Plan, says one movie star client binged on location, driving her weight up 15 pounds during filming.
They halted production and were literally losing hundreds of thousands of dollars every single day because she couldn't fit into a $30,000 gown. She was very depressed. She was very quiet. Her self-esteem was about this big. And, it took a lot of work.
There was also the famous pop star who came to Joy 2 weeks before a national tour because she was suffering from bulimia.
She was physically shot. She was swollen around her eyes and her face. She was incredibly lethargic, and her voice was raspy and shot from the constant vomiting.
Bauer's 90-10 plan calls for 90% of one's diet to be based on healthy eating, allowing room for foods not normally considered acceptable by the weight-conscious.
You could eat M&Ms, you could drink wine, cookies, ice cream, pasta, at last, whatever your personal choice. People should lose weight eating the very same foods that they're going to be eating after the weight is lost.
Joy says some clients call for help when they've entered drug rehab.
Some of the stars have used cocaine or other types of drugs to help them control their weight because there's so much pressure on this picture-perfect, skinny, thin look. I've seen a star that had gained 30 pounds after beating a drug addiction, and we got it off.
Bauer also told us that many of her celebrity clients are so frightened the tabloids will spot them that they insist she meets them away from her office. Tomorrow on E.T., Sex and the City sizzles again.
Our day will come.
The Ladies in White. E.T. has your preview of the season premiere and what Sarah Jessica Parker got in the mail. A Julia Roberts and Catherine Zeta-Jones exclusive. The superstar sisters together in bed. Plus, Carney Wilson and her connection to this 310-pound woman.
I feel really gross. I feel unattractive.
That's tomorrow.
And we'll be right back with what the ET Insider found out about Nicolas Cage's big day with Lisa Marie Presley. In 1986, was it Married with Children star Christina Applegate, Ted McGinley, or Katie Seagal who said, "I would like to have played in '84 on the U.S. Olympic team"? Your answer's next in the ET Birthdays. Closed captioning provided by...
Celebrating an ET birthday today, Cole Meany turns 48. Clint Walker is 74.
And which Married with Children star said in 1986?
I would like to have played in '84 on the U.S. Olympic team, the water polo team.
That's Ted McGinley. He's 43 today.
If Elvis ever wanted his little girl to date a doctor, he finally got his wish. Eyewitnesses say Nicolas Cage and Lisa Marie Presley looked very much a couple Friday as she watched her beau receive an honorary doctorate of fine arts.
I'm very proud to be alumni of Cal State Fullerton.
It was their first public appearance after secretly going out for a few months. Nicholas and his wife Patricia Arquette recently separated, while Presley split with former fiancé, musician John Oszaka, in March. After the ceremony, Presley reportedly went shopping in Hollywood with Dr. Cage and then home to his Bel Air mansion. And the Insider wonders if the pair spent the evening playing Love Me Tender.
And finally, ET has confirmed a report in a double issue of Us Weekly magazine out Friday that says survivor Colby Donaldson dropped by the set of Tom Cruise's new film Minority Report. But a spokesperson told ET today that Colby will not be in the movie.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow on ET, behind the scenes at the O Magazine photo shoot with Oprah's choice to show off her summer fashions, ER star Michael Michelle. But that's all for us now. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we will.